Welcome, everyone, on this 21st day of November 2025. This is the NDB Media Network with the show Talented Universe. Sorry for the technical problems. It feels like a Monday, but it's a Friday. But that's generally what happens.
It does feel like a Monday, actually.
Yes, it does. But first, I'd like to introduce our co-hosts for today. Marsha, how are you doing?
I am doing great. It's hard to believe it's almost the end of the year. I'm just excited for today and to be chatting live.
Yes, so am I. And we have a special guest co-host today, Daniel Fathers. Yeah. This is your second time hosting with us. It's great to have you back.
Yeah, and I've been a guest on the show.
You've been a guest, right? You've been a host, and you've just gone all over the place. Yeah,
I'm very happy to. I'm happy to be on this side of the table. Hunter is on that side of the table. We're gonna grill him. No, we're not.
Well, we do.
Good to be here. Good to be here. It's good to be here. Thank you for inviting.
Oh, I'm so glad you could do it. But I would like to introduce our guest today, Hunter Kohl. Hunter, how are you today?
Hello, everyone. I'm doing great in not so sunny, more dreary New York City. But thank you, Michael, Daniel, and Marsha for having me. I'm so excited to be here today.
Yes, and not someplace else, right?
Yes. And where are you? Are you live from a cornfield, Michael? Is that where you are?
Yes, I'm in a cornfield. Yes, if you look at Twilight Zone, you'll know what cornfield it is.
Got it.
Yes. No, I am outside of Washington, D.C., so I'm not too far from you.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. So, and I would like to ask you the fun question that I ask most guests.
Ooh.
And I'm asking you this also because Daniel is new to the vertical world. So when you did your first vertical and you came home and you told your friends, maybe not acting friends, but just your friends or your family, what you did, that you did a vertical drama, and they gave you a funny face and other things, how did you explain to them what it was?
Yeah, so this is an interesting story. My first one, I could not even explain to myself what it was, to be quite honest. Because I've been working in entertainment since I was like a little kid, since I was maybe 6 or 7 years old. So this medium was so new, and I think I had seen some ads for it on TikTok and different places. But my first one that I did came from a Instagram DM, and I wasn't sure how legit it was, but like most actors, especially in New York, I was doing the whole cater, waiter, bartender kind of thing, making ends meet, doing indie films, commercials. And I did it, because it was like, oh, I'm going to get paid to act. Great, right? The first day on set, I was so lucky enough to be with a great friend of mine now, Mariah Moss, who's arguably like the queen of the vertical land, right? And I remember the first scene we did, we entered a contract marriage, as you do in vertical land.
Yes.
And I was trying to act and ground the character and make it real. And that's, these things are kind of fantasy land and more fun, fantastical kind of environments. I almost walked off set because I was like, what is this? This isn't for me, I don't think. And it's like, it's more about the looks and the fashion and then the drama. And I was like, what is this? And Mariah pulled me aside and had a talk with me and kind of gave me the lay of the land. And, I stayed. I'm glad I did, because that one, it's crazy. It's called The Divorced Billionaire Heiress. It has more than 1 billion views. It's in 9 languages distributed throughout the world. Crazy. But when I came home and my friends and family, they're used to me getting up to no good, doing crazy things in the entertainment world. So they're kind of used to my craziness. But I was like, I think I did a show that's for TikTok. I'm not quite sure. I'm like, the cameras are on their side and everything's shot really skinny. And, they're like, okay. Yeah. And then I kind of forgot about it. And then I didn't even know it was out, but there was like a 30-minute ad that they put out that my friends and family saw before I did. And
really?
Yes, they really pumped it out. It was crazy. And my I think was it my sister or one of her friends was like, is your brother the billionaire in that show? And I'm like, wait, what? So I have this crazy line. I'm the richest man in New York. Bubble something. And then after that, it's, I've done 24, 26 of them or something in a year, which is crazy. But
that is a lot.
Yeah, it hasn't. Once that show caught on, it's kind of things took off. I'm so grateful for it. But yeah, I wasn't sure what to think of it either. So Daniel, if you're where I was a year ago, then just
well, I'm not anywhere. I'm an old school actor, and I've just finished doing the 3rd season of The Ark, the Sci-Fi Channel, and I've heard. I also mentor up and coming actors in screen acting over in Europe, well, all over the world actually, online and in person. And so I've heard of the concept, but I've been too busy to explore it. But so can you? I'm completely naive as to. I'm thinking it's kind of soap opera-esque in its
extreme
genre and style, and they're like literally 1-minute episodes or some like very tiny amount, and it's to be consumed on your cell phone. Am I getting it or not really?
That's pretty close. I don't know, Michael Marsh, if you want to chime in too, but yeah, it's this is how I explain to like horizontal land people, as I call it.
So I'm a horizontal, I guess.
I mean, I was too.
That doesn't sound right, but you know what I'm saying.
Me and all my actor friends.
Hey, I'm a landscape rather than portrait.
Right.
Landscape actor. So tell me.
It's a feature-length film that is adapted.
Oh, it is a film. It is a film.
Yeah.
So it's like 90 minutes, 120 minutes, 140, that kind of thing?
About an hour and 40 minutes to an hour and 20, hour 40, but it's broken up and adapted for the medium, which is, skinny and in episodic format. They are called episodes, but they're just chopped into 90-second clips.
Or less.
Okay. So they're easily consumable when you're on the subway or on the
waiting for your coffee kind of thing, picking up the kids from school, whatever it is, you can watch. And each one, or maybe every 10, there's some sort of semi cliffhanger to get you to go to click to the next one. So
yeah, wow. Okay, so every 90 seconds there's what we would do just before we go to commercial break 4 times in an hour, or at the end of an episode or at the end of the season, you do it every 90 seconds.
In a small way. It could be grandiose, but it can be small. It could be so much as somebody raises their hand about to hit someone and someone off screen.
Oh, okay.
You're like, who's that? And you click to the next. Or like, you don't know who I am. And then it cuts to the next, kind of.
Right. Yeah. All right, cool.
Yeah,
I'm guessing they're like super popular right now.
Mega popular.
Mega, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Good.
These things, it's so crazy because the views on them are. I mean, I know Hollywood's catching on now. I was just in LA, doing promo for a feature that I have coming out called The Last Vigil, and I'll get all into that. But and it's funny because the team that I was with, amazing up and coming filmmakers, people were recognizing me from Vertical Land. And it was eye-opening because, I've never been on the business side of things until dealing with this film. And it's been so eye-opening because, it's numbers and viewership and demographics and territory. And it's hard to compare to what these verticals do. It really, the reach that they have. I mean, I have, friends, followers, fans of these things sending me, hey, look, your show, it's trending in India right now, or it's here. And, and Netflix pumps however many millions into a show, and it makes Variety or Hollywood Reporter because it got 3 million views the first week. I'm like, a vertical does that in hours. So it's just really, it's pretty mind blowing to see. I mean, when my friends that work in the back end of this, when they tell me, oh, your show's at 1.3 billion views of this thing, I'm like, I can't even wrap my head around that. It's crazy.
Staggering numbers.
Yeah, it's and
So does that translate? If you have 1.3 million billion views, is your social media, your Instagram, like blown up? You're in the millions.
yeah, so it's interesting because every country is different in terms of like the trends in social media that they're on. But like for example, on TikTok, when that show, my first show, was trending, this app that I was working with that produced that booked me and that girl Mariah, my friend, to be leads in 3 more shows. They were like trying to catch the fire of what was happening. And we were a little naive, not aware of like, because you see the views online, you're like, oh, that's cool. It doesn't feel real. And we posted a TikTok of us on set, just holding the phone up and down and dropping the phone, not on purpose. And we're like, whatever, just post it. Let's not think too much. And it got like 6 million views and 25,000 comments. 25,000 comments. Oh my God, it's Ryan and Isabella from the Billionaire Show. And we're like, wow, that's pretty scary. But yeah, also, which I'm hoping changes, these shows don't credit the actors.
No.
So people, yeah. So
Oh, really? So it doesn't say starring Hunter Kohl
now,
or it's not in the back end. Oh, really?
That's what I had troubles when I started this almost a year ago, is I saw these things and I didn't know who was in them. I had a hard time finding actors that were in them back then because they did not put it on IMDb. And some places you couldn't even see the little credit they might have that lasted 3 seconds on the screen.
Right.
And it was very difficult.
Yeah. So the only way that Mariah and I had that little pop on social media is because we somehow got caught in the Divorced Billionaire Heiress algorithm of the ads that were currently out. Mm-hmm. So people were searching to watch the show for free, to not pay for it on, different ways. And our TikToks were coming up and like, oh my God, I found you. You're the guy from, because otherwise there's no way. And I don't think most people would even think to, we're all kind of industry people, right? To look on IMDb to be like, who's in this show?
Yeah.
So, I mean, now it's kind of, contracts can demand certain things if you're a semi.
Well, I was going to say, because you want the traction, don't you? You want the branding, or don't you? Or I would assume that you would.
Yeah, it's my mind is more wrapped around it than it used to be. I used to kind of be like, I'm not sure what these are. I don't know how to place them. I want to do films, blah blah blah, more feature stuff. But now I'm so appreciative. I'm grateful. I put it in its own box of what this content land is, and people love it. And how could you knock it if people enjoy it and appreciate your work? So, but they still don't really credit unless you're like a quote unquote name in it. It's tough. A lot of people message me, who played your sister in the show? Who did that? Because they'll only credit me the top two
or three.
Yeah.
Really? Now, how long, let's say it's a feature film, like, do you have like regular days on set? So it's like a 12-hour day, or why are you laughing, Michael?
He'll tell you.
Or are we going like 18 and a half with no lunch or rolling lunch, or like?
I had a friend that just did a 22-hour day on a set. That's
oh my word. Okay.
Yeah, that's the most I've ever heard of. But it's minimum, like the call sheet comes, it's 12 hours minimum. And then, when you get to the hour before lunch, gauging the tempo and the schedule, everyone's kind of like, ooh, it's going to be an OT day. We got 22 pages. We're on page 8, and lunch is in 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's all mentally prepare to be, because I've never been on a network or old school soap opera, and I know those are machines and they churn the pages out. And I was only used to.
Oh yeah.
What you're probably used to, Daniel, like Film World, maybe you do a dinner scene, 4 characters. That's a 2-day shoot. If it's 4 pages.
Potentially. It depends on the budget. The bigger the budget, like when I was on House of the Dragon, we were working with 6 cameras at the same time. So we can crunch, because the budget is that they've got just huge huge numbers of camera departments, right? So we're shooting it from all angles rather than having to do turnarounds and this and that. So yeah, but up in Canada, where in Toronto, Vancouver, and I've been doing the series in Serbia. We've got one or two. Sometimes we'll have 3 cameras, and sometimes we'll have second unit. But we're still, we're not huge budget, so we're crunching out pages. So on the turnarounds, on each setup, we'll sort out the technical for the camera, the focus pulling and the camera movement, etc. Once we've got that, we might only have 1 or 2 takes for acting, and then it's right, boom, move on. It's like, wait a minute, I haven't even just got into it. We're moving on. Scene complete. What
Wow.
happened?
That's
Sometimes it depends on the show and the budget, But I think most like I've been in this business a long time. When I first entered this business as an actor, we were filming in film, 35 millimeter, and it took a long time. We'd check the gate and all that kind of stuff. So it took a long time to do turnarounds, and every take counted. Now on digital, it's just everything's so quick, and the budgets I think are just getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Right. So we don't have the luxury of, let's try this option, let's do this, and what about if I come at it in this angle? And it's like, okay, moving on, let's go. We got to make our day. Mm-hmm. Are you finding that?
Yeah, I mean, it's not that it's chaotic, but it's just everyone is on the same, no pun intended, same page of like, whether it's costume, makeup, grip, electric, everyone's like, we have to do I think I did a werewolf show recently, which is so crazy that just casually comes out of my mouth. But but we did 28 pages in one day.
Yeah.
16 characters in the scene. And I remember going into it. I was with an actress friend of mine. Her name's Autumn. She's great. And I was like, I try not to get in my head about these things because I'm like, not my monkeys, not my circus kind of thing. But yeah. I'm like, we have 28 pages today. Is that an error? And I'm like, and this is the last day in this location. I'm doing all the internal math. And she's like, we'll get it. Like me and you we'll knock out our, and granted, there's not a lot of time for prep, right? And like a feature. You like a lot of times they'll flip it and be like, oh, we're not actually doing that. We're doing these 20 pages. And like, you just have to have a great mind in terms of memorization. And like, if there's one thing that these shows have expanded my toolbox and range and I don't know, method of excelling in whatever these tools for acting is, now I can glance at a monologue and know it. Because you can't, you got 60 people on set or 50 people on set, all counting on getting these pages done, and you're like, I will not be the one to steer the ship into the rock, right? But it's a lot. It's a lot. 120 pages in 8 days is a lot, which is what these shows.
In 8 days, 8 shooting days.
8 to 10 is a typical show. Yeah, so it's a lot.
I think I've been spoiled. I'm getting now. I feel as though I'm slightly spoiled, so I'm not going to complain. Like, what do you mean we're doing 16 pages?
No.
Yeah, Marcia, did you have something you wanted to bring up?
Sure. Well, you know me, I like to go in the Wayback Machine. So Hunter, we're going in your Wayback Machine about 10 years ago. I know that you have a lot of fans and a lot of different, what I'm going to bring up probably. You were in, which is hugely popular now, is the first non-Korean K-pop band, EXP edition, and you look different. I think you had blonde hair.
I had like white hair. White blonde hair.
So what an adventure that must have been.
Yes,
it was an experiment. kind of a thesis.
Yeah, so it was the group was called the EXP Edition, and it was in a nutshell a brilliant Korean American artist, Bora Kim. She was getting her master's in fine arts and visual arts at Columbia, and for her thesis project, she was fascinated before creating her thesis project. She was fascinated about how K-pop is like Western music interpreted in a kind of a Korean way. And she wanted to see how people would react if non-Koreans were doing that interpretation, kind of like flipping the script on everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just for the intensive purposes of her thesis project. So she cast me and the other group members. It was a 3 or 4 month contract. And for us at the time, it was an acting job to act like we were in a boy band. And she put our picture all boy bandified and styled and, everything on social media. And it had like 14 or 15,000 comments on it. People loving it, hating it, people up in arms about it. Is this cultural appropriation? A lot of conversations happening. And to her, obviously, that's a wild success as an artist that was the purpose of it. And we got so much attention. I mean, CNN, Fox, ABC, Business Week, everything, that we basically were signed to a label in Korea and became a real group. And, we were all young at the time, and we were like, this is wild. Like, should we do this? And we're like, why not? When else could you, go live in Asia and experience the world and tour and have this opportunity? So it was just EXP at the beginning, for short for experiment. And then when we kind of got signed and developed our album and toured and had our singles out and stuff, it became EXP Edition for like the new real leg of the group.
Mm-hmm.
But that was
And did you perform at the Olympics as well?
We did, yeah. We performed at the closing ceremonies in Pyeongtaek. It must have been the Winter Olympics that they had in Korea. That was crazy. It was thousands of people. It was snowing, big outdoor, unbelievable. One of the highlights of my life. It was
wow.
Yeah.
And people are still discovering that group. I'll tell you that, because I know some people who have recently discovered EXP Edition.
Yeah, it really wasn't that. To me, it feels like a lifetime ago, but it wasn't that long ago, and it was cool. I mean, you never like choose to be, or maybe some people do, to be like a pop star or whatever you want to call it, or in a boy band, right? When you're young and getting into the foray of like, oh, I want to be an actor or entertainer. But it was, when I say it was a wild ride, I could go on and on about this.
Yeah.
Vice did a documentary about us, which was cool. They came to Korea and they followed us around for like a week. And even them, because it's hard to explain to like my American friends and family, like, oh, we did this. We were at the Olympics. We're the guest judges on their version of American Idol, and we're doing a tour. Our songs are on the radio. We get a Slurpee at 7-Eleven, and our songs are playing. They're like, yeah. And I come home and nobody will pick me up at the airport. So it was
yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's funny. Well, I have to tell you, I was born and raised in New York City. So when I hear somebody is from New York and you're still in New York,
right,
I really respect and love that. So why are you still in New York?
So I honestly think living in Asia, so we lived in Korea, then we lived in Japan for a bit, and then we toured Europe and stuff. I'm such a New Yorker at heart. I'm like a little downtown city rat. I don't know how to explain it. First thing I did when I came back to New York with tears in my eyes was like got a sandwich at the bodega, and like was just so happy to be back, and with the trash on the ground and people and just like someone peeing in the corner. I'm like, I'm home. I know. I work in LA a lot, and I have a more appreciation for the town of Los Angeles. I think I just associate it with work. So for me, it's just I come home to New York. I'm there sometimes 3 weeks out of the month shooting stuff. But I I've been having this conversation recently with people like about possibly moving there, but I would keep my place here. I'd like to come here. I have my friends, my family. I got nieces and nephews, my grandmother. So yeah, I just love the grit of New York. And I think I like that it's not a town built on the industry that I work in. So it's nice to kind of get where LA feels very everyone is in show business, and I want to talk to people who aren't in the same industry all the time.
100%. That's how I felt when I lived there as well.
Got it.
It was just like you almost didn't want to say that you were an actor, unless you were A-lister, which I wasn't.
Yeah.
It was like, what do you do? Oh, I'm an actor. And then you go, oh, really? How's it going?
Yeah. Some of my friends,
I get what you're saying.
some of my friends will say, so are you working in marketing tonight? Because I just like, if I don't want to get into it, it's just let's just talk like people tonight. I don't know, what have I seen you in? How is it going? What do you think of the SAG strike? I'm like, Or people in LA, people looking over your shoulder while you're talking to them. Well, who else is here? Oh, that's Martin Scorsese's son. That's this. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, it's like I'm right here, buddy.
Yeah, that sort of thing. So I don't know. Yeah.
But talking about New York City, and we have to talk about Sky Hoshi, because
You just know all the gems. I'm in shock.
that is
Marsha, before you go on,
Mhm.
I'm going to throw this up here.
Okay.
Someone asked, can he wait to Sky Hoshi 2 to be released next year? You were so good in #1. That's from the Maxim. Go ahead, Marsha.
It's
I
actually
just want to
Sky
throw that up.
Hoshi, yes. So, and you've got the poster, right?
Oh, there you go.
You had to. What a fun! It kind of reminded me of a little bit of Clerks, Kevin Smith's kind of, because you work in a comic store and
I gotta tell the director that he's gonna love that. He Kalani Hubbard directed, wrote, produced, kind of everything. One Stop Shop. Him and his wife Stephanie produced it. That was his goal. He was kind of he's a kind of a Rat Pack guy, obsessed with like that 90s nostalgic kind of feel of filmmaking. And so that's what he kind of set out to do. He was like, why don't they make films like that, or Back to the Future, that kind of era sort of feel. I kind of based the character Adam, with a T, that I played in it, based off of kind of Marty McFly kind of vibe. Yeah, so that was crazy. I did that in New York, and that company came up with that great idea. I don't know, from Michael and Daniel. It's about this, I don't know if you can see from the poster, it's about an anime character that falls out of her poster into the real world.
Yeah.
Onto me, who I play this like bumbling, kind of depressed comic book store worker. And then it's all the hijinks of trying to get her back into her world. And of course, they fall in love and everything that happens. But it did well. People really loved it. It was kind of this like niche, now not so niche, beloved kind of film. And then it ended up being in cinemas in the Philippines and stuff. Got a great following abroad, and we filmed the sequel, and the premiere is January 15th, actually. So excited about that.
So, Anime New York, I saw some scenes that look like they were actually, because I've gone to lots of sci-fi conventions, and I do programming at sci-fi conventions. They were filmed actually at
Yes, I hate to burst the bubble. So they did film a lot of it there. I was not there the day they were there, but my anime convention stuff was all studio green screen work.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, but they did go there. They filmed a lot.
Go there.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff with Sky, the character Sky, was shot there. And then the ending, which is when I kind of go, and it's like the closing of the chapter was green screen work. But we did go to the anime convention in Rhode Island. So we didn't film there, but crazy world. Yeah.
So might we see a continuation, sequel, something? A
third one? How do you know all these secrets? So possibly, yeah. There's such a great fan base for that film, and as we all know, like Daniel, you were saying, it's just so hard to make a goddamn movie these days that there's so many fans of that film that I think that the director who loves these films as much as the audience, honestly, he's on set, like he'll like forget to say cut. He's like, I just love it. I love this scene. I love these characters. He's so obsessed with it. Yes, there's this high possibility for a third one.
All right, let's go.
I'm gonna go a question in the chat room because this is kind of time appropriate. Elizabeth Cooper wants to know, will there be a cooking video for Thanksgiving, and will there be farmer's cheese?
Oh gosh. During the pandemic, I had a cooking show with my mom, and my mom, she is a great cook, but she's just very she's a typical New York mom, if that makes sense. Marsha, maybe it does to you.
Yeah.
So she's like, she's not, she cooks and it's great, but she's like all over the place when she's doing it. So we made cheese for the first time and it came out horribly. And, she's like trying to act like a cooking show host and this. And I'm like, do this, do that. She's like, I don't know. I'm like, you're the one that knows how to do this. Like, it was just it was a complete mess. And I edited it the best way I could, but I just had to, I kept all the mistakes and bloopers and messes in it because there was really nothing good in the show actually about cooking. So, but yeah, that's a YouTube video. There will be cheese, but we will not be making it. We will be buying it from the market and leaving that to the professionals.
You have another one, Marsha, or should I?
Yes. Well, comedy. You play comedy really well. I actually, one of the things I loved was your episode 1 of Drive-Through Therapist, where you played Gerald. Oh my gosh, you were so.
Oh, thank you. That's so sweet of you. Yeah, I love comedy, and I think I have a very different type of humor that maybe I think maybe not be for everyone, but I don't really get a chance to do comedy that much, or those auditions don't come my way. I don't know if it's based off of the stuff that I've done already. So people just, I tend to get put in the same box of playing like the boyfriend or the this or whatever. But that was something that was cool. I got that audition in and they didn't want me to read for it, but I was like, screw it. I'm just going to send it in. And I just was like, he's a very quirky guy. Mm-hmm. And I improv. Yeah, I improved like a lot of it. Yeah,
the clown.
The phone was I had a cracked phone in my apartment, and I had just got a replacement. And I used that in the audition. I was supposed to be showing the therapist a picture of like my child or something. Improved all that, and and I ended up shooting it. And even on set, they were like, "Wow, we never thought you'd be good at comedy." But I don't get a chance to do that. But Sky Hoshi too, there's a lot of comedy.
There is, yes.
And that those filmmakers kind of trust me and they let me improv as much as I could. And
more comedy. Yeah.
I agree. I didn't get it, but there's a show that I got to audition for. It's like they're not rebooting The Office, but it's kind of semi-themed about that, but takes place in a nursing home. It's about the workers that work there and like kind of breaking the fourth wall and all that stuff. But yeah, so I'm hoping to do more comedy, but there's not a lot of stuff being made like that nowadays.
Yeah. And you've also done some horror as well. So
the whole Rolodex. Yeah, so I'm a horror movie fan. I don't know about you guys. And while I did a horror film called Creeping Death, which had really great practical effects in it. We had a really great team of filmmakers on it. But I did learn that I think I enjoy watching them more than being in them or filming them. Not to say I'm closed off to them, but I mean, being covered in blood, I had like, I think it was 2 or 3 days of, spoiler alert, death scenes in that film, and just being like in my underwear and it's like 20 degrees outside covered in blood. I'm like, this may be the last horror film for me. But I'm such a horror movie fan. I grew up watching them with my grandmother, watching them way earlier than I should have for the age I was. But massive horror movie fan. Yeah, I'll watch any D-list, Z-list, Q-list horror film before anything, any day. I love a good horror film.
So what was the last horror film you saw in the theater?
I think it was Sinners, probably.
Ooh.
Yeah. Which I love that film leaned into the over the topness of everything. I thought it was so great, and that's something I think is going to start having the Academy and more like awards shows like honor horror now that it's being done in such a well done way. But that was my last one.
I'm sorry, Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel, did you have something?
Well, I was just saying I've done a bunch of horror, and the fans, they're a bit like sci-fi or anime. The fans just love the genre, and they love anybody who's associated with that genre. I've done a bunch of them. I have two more to do like next year, and they are getting better and better. I was nominated for an acting award, sci-fi horror in mainstream, in Canada for an actor award. So they are getting, better and better. They're not all, Z-list horror stuff. But yeah, I mean, the fans are fantastic. They become cult movies, and you become like, Yeah,
there was I wanted to audition for it. I didn't get to, but the Terrifier franchise, you guys know that film? Beloved indie film that's now massive. I don't know if the third one or the fourth one what they're at, but anyway, it was in theaters and broke every barrier for whatever. It was like blockbuster studio films, action films out at the same time, and it just like surpassed everything. Because those horror films film fans are massive in number and so devoted and so loyal, and just it's really impressive. Yeah, I mean, never say never. I would love to do. I think it was the one I did was understandably like more of like an indie horror film. So maybe a heater and a trailer would have helped. But yeah, they're not easy films to make.
No, I shot one up in northern Ontario in Canada, Sudbury, I think it was, or North Bay. It was like I flew from London. I arrived. It was minus 36. It was in February. It was in a small sort of sound studio, and I was up on a thing strapped to it for 3 weeks, covered in cold goop.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they can be uncomfortable to shoot, but yeah, I have fun actually. You got an axe and you're chopping off a tentacle of some monster. My youngest daughter called it the sausage monster was trying to kill you, and she was only about 8 at the time. So, I mean,
Yeah,
who wouldn't love that?
I know.
As an act?
And seeing in the edit, obviously, it's worth it. But I remember I had this. I get impaled by this cross, essentially this tombstone, and obviously to sell it, and it takes time with the angles and the this and that. So, but it was winter in Syracuse, New York, upstate, which is not like a normal winter. It's like
no, I know. I lived in Toronto. I know exactly what it's like.
That's right across the
lake. Yeah.
It was so cold, and I was covered in blood, and like I was in this harness thing, and I was just like, and it was I don't know if it was 4 or 5 weeks of night shoots only. So it's like you're like dead to the world because everyone else is on normal people time, and we would get to set at 6 p.m. for like hair and makeup and stuff, and we'd get dropped off to sleep, 7, 8, 9 a.m. and you have to sleep, because you have to get some rest. Yeah. And then you wake up at 4 p.m. and you're like, oh my gosh, I got to go back to work. And you try to check in with family and stuff, but you're like in your own little world of whatever film you're working on.
Yeah. Copy that.
Well, we have our fearless leader, Roger Noriega, says hi, Hunter.
Right.
Oh, hi.
Yeah, and he also says hi, Daniel, too, Ron.
So hi, Roger, and then there was somebody else said hi.
Yeah, there's
to
been
me,
a couple of. I'm trying to go. This was another. Edward Kaznan. I'm sorry if I pronounced that so wrong. Speaking of anime, what's your favorite anime show if you watch any? Do you have a favorite, or don't you really watch it?
I don't remember.
You just play in it.
Well, kind of, but I will say the filmmakers that I've made those films with are big anime fans, and so like while we'd be on set, I would watch shows with them, but I can't recall the names off the top of my head. No, but what's something's cool is they're called mangas. It's like the term.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There's an official Sky Hoshi manga, which is pretty cool with like all the characters from the films that production studio Pure Magic Pictures made, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
Ooh.
And then there was one other said, appreciate talent says, I know you have dipped your toes into the DC comic world when you played a bit part in the 2015 Robin. Would you ever like to do more in the superhero world?
Gosh, am I getting to the point where I can't remember the projects that I've done? Okay. Oh, wow. That was a long time ago.
It was 10 years ago.
Yeah. I'm definitely open to it. I know there's some actors that are like, I think Leonardo DiCaprio gave advice to Timothy Chalamet when he was coming up and said, just never do a superhero movie. I think I would. I think it's kind of like along the lines of like horror and these vertical films. People, I've kind of gotten past the ego world of like, I only do blah blah blah. So people are fans of so many different genres, and if people enjoy it and it makes them happy and it's like entertaining to them, I'm open to it. Like I just saw, was it Fantastic? Or was it Pedro Pascal? Who was in that?
Yeah.
Pedro Pascal. I thought it was great. It's fun. It's light. Some people call that stuff popcorn movies, but I think if it's fun and it's good and it's well done, I'm open to it. I like having fun with what I do, and I know it's so rare to be able to enjoy like your livelihood and your work. So I'm definitely open. I think that would be so fun. Strap me to something and fly me around. Yeah, count me in.
So if you go to a movie, would you just from what you've been saying, you're probably number one would be maybe a horror movie to go to the theater, or do you have other things you'd rather see in the theater?
I actually just got back into, my friends and family kind of make fun of me for it because I love going to the movies. I go probably every week, maybe twice a week, especially it's so easy to like, I'll go to the gym and be like, oh, it's 8:30, 9 o'clock. Why don't I go to the 10:20 of whatever? I just saw Begonia, thought it was amazing. I'm definitely more geared towards seeking out a good thriller or horror movie. Psychological thriller is probably my favorite movie theater genre outside of horror, but yeah, I definitely lean towards that. Not to plug my own self, but why not?
That's what you're here.
Yeah. The new movie I have coming out is called The Last Vigil, and it's a psychological thriller made to be really seen in a theater. It's just like the cinematography is amazing, the twists and turns, the story is beautiful filmmaking. It's called The Last Vigil. Director is brand new. It's his debut feature, and he wrote it, directed, produced it. And his has a tight insider team of filmmakers he's worked with, all first-time filmmakers, and they made this beautiful piece of art, and it's mind-blowing. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see the trailer for it, but it was posted on YouTube maybe 2 weeks ago now, and it's at over 3 million unpromoted views on YouTube.
Amazing.
That just doesn't happen anymore. So but psychological thrillers I love, and so when I got the chance to do The Last Vigil, you guys know it's so hard to get a film made. I did the proof of concept / short film over 3 years ago, And now it's fully developed and was fleshed out by the director Vivek, and is a full feature, and it's going to be coming out in 2026, which is so cool. It's like probably
Do they have a date yet for 2026 or just general 2026?
General. So we are actually, if anybody on here is a distributor, but we just were in LA at American Film Market, which is kind of like the back end side of getting a film sold and distributed and getting sales aid and all that stuff. So right now people are kind of bidding on to buy it, which is crazy, because we're all first time filmmakers in that regard, the team. But it's so good, and I can't, it's probably the proudest thing I've ever done to date in terms of my acting career. Very grounded, normal, and it's funny, I actually did a vertical leading straight into filming it, and we got these brilliant actors in it. Catherine Curtin, she's in Orange is the New Black, Stranger Things, two-time SAG award winner. This brilliant actor, Brett Cullen, who's Friday Night Lights, Apollo 13. I mean, he was opposite Joaquin Phoenix in Joker, Dark Knight Rises. He's Batman's dad in all the films. So to go from a vertical, which I love them, but they have their own place in my mind in terms of acting style and nuance and everything, to go like these grounded scenes with Kathy and Brett was like, talk about being flipped upside down. I remember I don't really get that nervous with acting stuff, but I remember being so nervous, and the director had to pull me aside. He's like, get your crap together. I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, these are like greats. And it's like me, like they're probably looking at me like, who is this kid? Why are we opposite him in these scenes, But I'm like, can I act? Like, did I forget how to act? All these things cross your mind when it's such different genres of things. But yeah, anyway, I can't wait for people to see The Last Vigil and me in that light of just a total opposite character that I've ever played in my life, and so different from how I am. So yeah, but that's showbiz, baby, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
There's can I just say something about doing jobs in different genres and whether it's a vertical or a small low budget indie, or you're doing the major studio or major network stuff with big budgets. And you mentioned something that was, I think, really important, is that the fan base, and there's so many people love this genre and that genre, and they get a kick out of going to see these things. Sir Anthony Hopkins, who I've had the privilege of working with, he was interviewed by some journalist after he had shot a movie called The Fastest Indian. I don't know if you guys saw it, but he was playing a New Zealand guy who was trying to break the land speed record on an Indian motorcycle in Death Valley, and he had just won Oscars for The Remains of the Day with Anthony Hopkins. And the journalist said, like, so this movie you're in now with The Fastest Indian is not really kind of Oscar worthy. Like, why are you stepping down? And Tony just said, because there's no shame in entertainment.
Oh, I love
mic drop, right?
That's great.
And
Wow.
yeah, so I do all sorts of genres. Sometimes they might not be my genre, my go-to as an audience member, but I do know that there are lots of fans and they love this kind of stuff. So I feel as though it's our responsibility to be of service to the people who basically pay us a living, and I'm very grateful. I don't know, how do you feel about that, Hunter?
I'm gonna take that with me from this. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think, as I get more experience, I have doing this for a while. I'm still young, but I used to have this kind of like preconceived kind of like, I basically ego about things that I've just completely let go. And I'm just so happy that, yes, if people are watching the stuff that you do and you're getting to be like a filmmaker, an artist, essentially, it's such a luxury and such a privilege to be able to do that and have it like pay your bills. And like a year and a half ago, if you told me that I didn't have to bartend anymore, be an assistant, be a dog walker, whatever, paint walls. I mean, at that point I was, if somebody wrote a paragraph in their notepad, I would perform it for them. That's kind of where I was. And it could go back to that at a moment's notice. I'm not naive to the fact that, everything can go away and you have to appreciate every project that you get. So yeah, I think that's so great. And if it's something that people will watch and enjoy, then I think why not? And you're lucky to do it. So many things are made that you can say, oh, but it's this, it's that, and it's above this, and it's cerebral, then you don't get it. But yeah, is it going to live on your hard drive and no one's ever going to watch it? Like, what's the point? But yeah, so I'm very appreciative of that. Like before I did verticals, I was like, oh, I would never do a vampire thing, I would never do a werewolf thing. And then I got into it. I'm like, people love these shows and they're just like, so into these worlds. And it took some friends of mine that are, lawyers, doctors, dermatologists, whatever, and they're like, oh, you should totally do that. I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah, I love that stuff. It's like my Sunday watch. I watch this, I watch that. I'm like, hey, I can't knock what people, enjoy. And if, I just have fun when I'm on set and I'm at work. I love a drama, I love a good crying monologue. It's kind of my specialty. Don't get a chance to do that a lot, but yeah, I don't judge it. I think it's great. I love that Anthony Hopkins said that.
Yeah.
Marcia, do you have any closing questions?
Well, as I'm listening to Hunter, and you've done so much, and fans really would love to be able to thank you in person at a convention or panels. Have you thought about doing something like that? Because the interaction with fans.
Yeah, I'm so open to anything like that. There were a few things that were happening in LA, I think, in the vertical world that I tried to do. I don't think it'll ever go away. Whenever I get offered a project or I sign on, I just never know when it's going to end. So like I typically am not available to go to these things, but I think I need to make a point to put the time aside. And if anyone's watching this, if they see me out, like sometimes people, I can see that they'll want to come up to me, just come up to me and say something. I'm just
that is cool.
Like a weird New Yorker, and I think it's just a job, right? So everyone's kind of paying their bills and chugging along. So don't come say hi. I got to meet Benedict Cumberbatch 2 days ago, and he was just like the nicest, most normal guy. And I thought, he's such a great in the industry. And I'm like, God, some actors are not so nice. And I'm like, I don't know why. You get to do something that people would kill to do. Just be a nice person, right?
So one last thing. Have you practiced your autograph? Have you ever done that?
I will say, being in the boy band was a lot of we did a lot of meet and greets, and I have perfected the autograph. I have.
Excellent. So okay, US fans, hopefully we'll get to see Hunter in person sometime.
Yeah,
be wonderful.
And be on the lookout for Skyhooshie 2 and The Last Vigil, please. I would appreciate it.
Yes. Thank you so much for being with us and sharing so much about your life and your work and what's coming.
Yeah, and it was so great to get to know you guys a little bit, Marcia, Daniel, and Michael. Thank you so much for being here today.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, me too. I really enjoyed it. You gave me an education, and you're a wonderful human being, and I can only imagine that translates into your on-screen roles. So I definitely want to watch Last Vigil. So I've written it down. So
thank you.
Good luck, buddy.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Michael, for arranging all this.
Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to say, Hunter, before we sign off, or did you get anything you wanted to talk about in? I know you wanted to talk about Last Vigil, and I'm glad you did. So
yes, that's the main thing, and I think it'll be fun for I'm so appreciative of the vertical fans. I know a lot of them. My social media is because of them, and I'm still doing them. I got one coming up in December, but just it'd be great. I would really appreciate it if people took the time to check that out. I think they would enjoy it.
Yeah, I agree. So on behalf of NDB Media and Talented Universe, thank you all for coming out there in cyberspace. And thank you, Hunter, for coming. And in about an hour, we've got another vertical actor coming on. So stay tuned and we will see everyone. Take it easy. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.